My husband, 30, and I, 30 female, met in community college and married 6 years ago. He works with AI, and I work as a part-time nurse. Obviously, he makes significantly more money than me. Still, we've thus far lived well below our means, to the extent that my salary alone can support our current lifestyle. We live in a 2-bedroom house, which was given to me by my uncle as a graduation present. And while comfortable, our daughter, toddler, is getting to the age where she needs a bigger house and a yard to play in. I've been asking my husband to look into bigger homes in better neighborhoods for the past 6 months, and each time he tells me he'll look into it, and he'll sit with me looking at homes that fit what we're looking for, only to back out of it before we take the next step. Then last week, I heard him on the phone with his mom, 63, asking if she needed more money and if she wanted more consistently than last month. His mother moved to London to live with her brothers and sisters after her husband, my husband's father, died 7 years ago. He left my mother-in-law a large sum of cash, which she spent instantly to buy a large house in London and to move all her brothers and sisters from Iran to the United Kingdom, where they lived together in a 5-bedroom home. I used to think they were each working or had some leftover cash from buying the home, but after I overheard them on the phone, I asked my husband how much his family needed and if they were struggling to make ends meet. To his credit, he was very straightforward with me and explained the whole scenario, detailing how they have no cash of their own and how none of them hold a job, and he's been giving them between $5 and $10K a month for the past 4 years. It turns out that when they had all originally moved to London, my husband's 3 uncles, between the ages of 40 to 50, had held jobs as delivery drivers or whatnot, while his mother and aunt, 50-ish, stayed home. Then when my husband got his new job 4 years ago, which I've now found out pays significantly more than I thought, and he started giving them money, his uncles quit their jobs, and he alone funded them. He's given them nearly $350K in the past 4 years, which is already a lot, but for a group of 5 able-bodied adults with a paid-off home and taking full advantage of all the publicly funded benefits of the UK system, it becomes far too much in my eyes. I started telling him how his main responsibility is to his family here and how his daughter's well-being and comfort should be his priority. He said it is a priority, how he's still saving up a lot of money for our eventual move, and that he's saved up more than he's given. He said it's just delayed by a year or two, and that we had to wait for the housing bubble to pop anyway before buying an expensive house. We argued for a bit before he called me unreasonable and cold. I'm now wondering, am I in the wrong here? Not the idiot. He lied to you. It's a lie of omission, but he still purposefully hid his true income from you and never mentioned supporting his mother and her relatives. This is borderline divorce territory. You're supposed to be a team. $350K is a huge amount of money. What the heck? That $350K should have gone into 1, your daughter's college fund, and 2, your joint retirement funds. Has he looked at college cost? What if your daughter wants to go to law school or med school? OMG, OP doesn't know her husband's finances at all, including his salary, or has seen any bank statements, which is a massive red flag. He's been leeching off of her free housing and salary while funneling his money to his family for years. It sounds like she has no verification of what he's telling her. How could you be comfortable not having complete transparency in a marriage? And don't forget that the husband's family are all committing benefit fraud by accepting money from him and not declaring it to the benefits office. They'd be entitled to 0 money from the government if they knew your husband was sending this money, and face possible jail time. The family's using your husband's kindness. Is he really going to fund them for the next 40 years? For funsies, I would visit a divorce attorney and find out how much alimony and child support he'd be on the hook for after a split. Considering his high income and the fact you've been married since he started working, I guess quite a lot. And since your uncle gave you the house, he would also have to factor in new lodgings for himself. See how much he can afford to give mommy after all of that. I, female 28, have a great relationship with my niece, Ava, tween. She loves me, and I love her. She has no issue staying with me for days on end. So I asked my brother if I could take her on a trip with me to Disney for a week. I knew she would love it since we always watch Disney movies together. He wanted me to ask sister-in-law. Definitely, she said, they'll let Ava go if sister-in-law can come along with her. I asked her if it was because she didn't trust me. Sister-in-law said no, she just wanted to come with. I told sister-in-law she could accompany me as long as she paid her way. We can all share the room, but she must get tickets, airplane, and her own ticket. She said she didn't have the money for it, and since I don't have kids or family and have enough income, I should pay for her to come too. I didn't like it. Technically, I have the money, but I don't like the way she said it, and I have my own financial plans. I told her I won't pay for her. She said she won't let Ava go. Though disappointed, I canceled the idea. My brother called me the next day, asking why I canceled the trip, and Ava was looking forward to it. I didn't tell her about the trip. I told him about my conversation with sister-in-law. He was upset with sister-in-law, but didn't have enough money to pay for her. He asked if I would cover. I said no, just on the principle. I felt like sister-in-law was forcing my hand, and I didn't like it. Now my brother's calling me an idiot for refusing to cover my sister-in-law and canceling a vacation I promised Ava. I didn't promise Ava. Sister-in-law did. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. I totally understand a parent wanting to accompany their tween on a trip. But if your brother wants you to include sister-in-law on a trip that she wasn't invited on, then they can foot the bill. Me thinks sister-in-law's vested interest in going on the trip had to do more with getting a freebie vacay rather than accompanying her daughter. Yep, now brother and sister-in-law are upset that LP has a spine and refuses to be walked all over. At least they know they can't manipulate her in the future. The sheer audacity to demand her trip to be paid. She saw an opportunity for a free ride. So entitled. It's too bad you couldn't get a trip with Ava this time, but I hope you can spend more time with her in the future without sister-in-law imposing and mooching. Holding your own kid hostage for a free vacation is a new kind of low, and your brother doubling down on that is doubly despicable. I'd probably talk to Ava to see if she knew. It's possible she doesn't, and they're again trying to manipulate you. If she does know, maybe say something like, I would love to take you, but your mommy said she had to save up some money before she could afford it first. My sister has never been a prized parent. She married rich and had a baby because she was supposed to do that. Truthfully, she never looked after her own daughter for a single day. Even on Christmas, she'd go to parties, and her daughter would celebrate with us. Nannies don't work on Christmas. We all knew her daughter wouldn't have any semblance of a relationship with her. My sister would talk to her as she got older, but it was never about things she liked. It was always things like she'd book a trip to Disney for her birthday. My niece has been terrified of theme parks since she was small. My niece has just turned 18. She got her inheritance money from her grandpa and is set to start college this year. My dad drove her to her college dorm a couple of days ago. She's doing well. As soon as she arrived, she sent her parents a text informing them that she was cutting them off and to no longer contact them. No one is surprised, not even her dad. No one besides my sister, apparently. She's been complaining since it happened. She was incredibly upset, but we tried to warn her. If you don't start bonding with her, she won't care for you and all that. When she finally approached me and explained her feelings and how she just didn't understand, I laughed at her. I told her that we'd all warned her and that I was incredibly happy for my niece. She went and complained to our mom, who's potentially the only one on her side. She called me immature and said it was the wrong thing to do. I needed to apologize, all that. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but I'm curious what this apology would sound like. I'm sorry for not validating your feelings of abandonment from the child you abandoned. She treated her kid like a puppy and is now upset that her daughter's not a stupid puppy who loves her no matter what. Your sister brought it on herself. I hope the memories of those parties keep her company in her old age, because the daughter she neglected is free now and isn't obligated to do crap for her, and likely won't. Treating her daughter like a puppy would imply she at least raised her daughter. She really treated her like a time-locked safe, do nothing for years, then open up and grab all the emotional attachment just waiting there for you. Sometimes when someone makes terrible decisions like her, such as being a crappy parent, it's appropriate to laugh at their idiotic mistakes backfiring on them. I 100% agree. I'll never understand the parents who think, yuck, I can't stand kids. I'll wait until they're an adult, and then they'll magically transform into my sister/best friend/clone, and we can go shopping and watch baseball or party together. It's going to be a blast. And then this predictable outcome happens, and it's surprised Pikachu face. My teen female parents have always been close to another couple, Kolya and Vika. When Kolya and my father were doing their mandatory military service, my mother and I moved in with Vika. We still live very close to them and see them almost daily. On Saturday, I was at a friend's birthday. He lives close to Vika and Kolya's flat, and I usually just sleep there instead of walking all the way home. It's also safer because our neighborhood can be a bit dangerous at night, especially if you're drunk and tired. I had asked Vika if I could sleep there again, and she said she wouldn't be there, but it would be no problem. Their guest room is located behind their room, so I had to go through the bedroom to get there. When I went by the bed, I saw two people sleeping in there. One was Kolya, and the other was my father. They weren't wearing a shirt. I didn't think right then, and just went to the guest room. The next day, they were both in the kitchen and eating breakfast. I asked why my father was there. He said he'd explain when we went home. It was an uncomfortable atmosphere. At home, my mother apologized because I wasn't meant to find out that way, but they both forgot that I was sleeping there. She explained that they were in an intimate relationship with Vika and Kolya. It was a shock to hear because I always saw them as my aunt and uncle. I told them that I needed time to get my mind around it. That was 3 days ago, and the longer I'm thinking about it, the more it makes me uncomfortable. When I think about interacting with them, it makes me uncomfortable. I asked my aunt and uncle if I could move in with them for some time. They said it would be fine, and I could move in with them this weekend. My cousin, who's very westernized, asked me why I wanted to move in with them, and I told her what happened. She said I shouldn't be so prejudiced and that it was none of my business what they were doing in the bedroom. But I disagree because this affects me and makes me uncomfortable, so I don't want to stay with them now. What they're doing is betraying their marriage vows by sleeping with other people, and it's unnatural, and I don't want to be near that. I don't care if it's with men or women. They're betraying their marriage vows. Am I the idiot for wanting to move in with my aunt and uncle? I hate to be the one to break this to you, but marriage vows are not natural. They're a human social construct. Sorry, you are the idiot. Your cousin is right. Your prejudice is showing big time here. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. OP, who are you to say what's natural or unnatural? You say you aren't judging, but process to judge away. It's not betraying their marriage if they're both consenting adults and the other adults are also consenting, which it seems like it is. They may be your parents, but they're also their own people with their own lives who you also cannot judge. None of this actually affects you. You're making it affect you. I'm pretty sure OP meant swinging is uncommon, not unnatural. I cannot believe the amount of you lecturing a teen for being uncomfortable when they caught their parents swinging. Being uncomfortable with your parents' intimate life in general is normal, let alone trying to wrap your mind around swinging. To you, you view it as cheating. That's your personal belief. And considering this is your parents, I find it totally normal that this would upset you. Not the idiot. Finding out that your parents are in an open relationship with another couple is a bit shocking, especially since you've known and loved the other couple your whole life. This lifestyle is not for everyone, and not everyone has to agree with it or feel comfortable with it. I don't think wanting to take a step back from them for a little while is a bad thing. But don't completely shut them out, because they are your family and they love you. You have to do what's best for your mental health. And sometimes we just have to love people from a distance. One of my 28 male friends, 28 male, is single and has told me he has a crush on one of my sisters. That sister, 29, is also single. She and my friend have similar educations. She's a dentist and he's a chemical engineer, and political views. I know they both campaigned for the same candidate in the last provincial election. They both frequent the gym as well. I know my sister's looking to date, so I told her my friend was interested. My sister told me she would never date a man like him. Those were her exact words. At first I thought she meant he was a creep or he harassed women or something. I was confused because my friend doesn't like that, and I wondered if she knew something I didn't. But it wasn't about that. I asked her about it, and she said she doesn't date men who use weaponized incompetence. She told me she knows my friend doesn't know how to do his own laundry, and he's content to let everyone else clean up after him. My sister went on this tirade about not dating men who don't do 50% of the chores and pull their own weight. She said she isn't sure if she wants to get married or have kids, but if she does, she'll be picky about what man she ends up with, because she doesn't want to get saddled with someone who leaves her with all the work. She said she knew my friend was a slob, whose ex-girlfriend did all the chores and housework. I was shocked, honestly. My friend is a good guy, and I've never noticed any of the things she said. I told her this, and my sister said I was the same as him. So of course, I wouldn't notice. I'm definitely laid back and not a neat freak, but I don't know what she's saying about incompetence or men like my friend don't do their fair share. I told my friend, my sister's slowly getting back into the dating game, but not looking for anything serious to spare him. He's looking elsewhere and no longer has her as an option. But I'm mad at her for not giving my friend a chance and making all these claims about how he would be in a relationship. She says I'm the idiot for not realizing that I don't pull my weight, and neither does my friend. I think she's an idiot for not giving him a chance. You are the idiot. Your sister doesn't have to give your friend a chance just because you think it could be a good match. She has expressed some obvious misgivings about him. You have absolutely no authority to override her preferences and insist that she give someone with characteristics she's already expressed as undesirable a chance. Bro, is this the 1800s? Get out of your sister's dating life. Women don't want to be set up, much less be asked to compromise unimportant things just because some guy has a crush. The compatibilities you listed are beyond generic. What do engineering and dentistry have in common? Chemistry is about more than sharing vague political views and going to the gym. What the heck? You're not your sister's matchmaker. Stop encouraging her to settle. She could have given no reason at all, which still should have ended the conversation. Other fish in the sea, my guy. I think this rocked OP to the core because he probably views his friend as a high-valued man, or whatever tatter-tots call themselves, and for his friend to be denied struck him, since he assumed just by his friend's job title and going to the gym that any woman would be falling over that dude. His sister broke that dream. Then to add insult to injury for OP, he also has the same qualities that got his friend rejected. OP is reeling from having his sister bring down the hammer on him. Yes, seriously. It's not enough to just have a good job anymore. You have to be a good partner, parent, and housemate. Shocker. At almost 30 years old, a person can do laundry and clean up after themselves. You want a mommy to clean up after you and your friend, not a girlfriend. You are the idiot. Now go clean your room.